All right, all right. Vikings win. Vikings win. They are the Kings in the North, at least for 1 week, hopefully more. This is Justin in Rochester on Twitter at JDAY underscore 24. That is Twitter, JDay 20 underscore 24. What a game. What a game. Should have been a blowout. Looked like it was going to be an easy victory, but as Vikings fans, we know there is no such thing as an easy victory. Before we get too much further into this, we're going to give some love to our sponsors here. As always, we're going to start with our main sponsor, and that is Ronali's Pizza and Pasta. Now, I've been to that joint once, and I'll tell you what, the pizza is good, the wings are great, but the cheese bread is absolutely outstanding. They're located on Wood Lane Drive, and that's right off the intersection of I-494 and Valley Creek Road. So go ahead and tap in with them this afternoon if you're in the Woodbury area. Also, we have Nautical Bowls. They are our second sponsor. They are located also in Woodbury, and they're on Hudson Place, and that's right off the intersection of Wisconsin and, Woodbury Drive and I-94. Let's get right into this. Vikings come out guns blazing. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, and looked utterly flawless. Kirk Cousins sets a franchise record, 17 for his first 17, beating the old record by Tommy 2-Minute Kramer. And it just looked like the Vikings were just going to run the doors off like it was 2009, like it was 1998. And then a couple of things go wrong here and there. And next thing you know, it's right back to what the Vikings always are. What they are is a team right now that is a good but not great team. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're great. They're just good. And that's okay for right now. This is Kevin O'Connell's first year as head coach, kind of changing regimes and all that good stuff. But the point I'm making here is this. You had an opportunity to get out with an easy victory, and you didn't. Now, you also had an opportunity to be all atop of the division, and you did. This team is 4-1. Ostensibly, it's a game and a half above the Green Bay Packers because you also have the head-to-head tiebreaker with them. Somehow, some way, they went to London and lost to New York. Maybe we got to start taking the NFC East a little more seriously between Dallas, who currently, just looking at the score right now, they're playing the Rams, and the Rams just look kind of whatever at this particular point in time. But defensive touchdown on the first series for them, and it's currently 9-3. The Cowboys over the Rams. We're going to have to start taking the East a little bit more seriously than we originally thought. But long and short, Packers lose, Lions lose. Not that we care all that much about them, but bottom line, Vikings get the W. Now defensively, the first few drives up until that 2-minute area that we had so much problems with last year, they look pretty decent. Made Justin Fields, look like Justin Fields. Then everything starts with, okay, the Vikings actually had to punt, have a bad punt, and have a penalty. The Bears get the ball at the 50-yard line. It reminds me a lot of the game last week in London against the Saints, where defensively they did play pretty good for a half, and the only touchdown drive that they gave up was coming off of an interception, or in this case, a muff punt, bad punt, good starting field position. Going into the half, thinking, all right, not the worst thing in the world. Would have been nice to have gotten that field goal to be up 24-10 at the half, but unfortunately, I guess we got all of our magic from special teams last week because, we wouldn't have been anywhere close to winning that game last week but for the special team. So this week we had to have our turnaround, I suppose. But the long and the short, the Vikings did what they needed to do to get the victory. Now, we can talk a little bit about the franchise player right now. It's not Kirk Cousins. It's Justin Jefferson. This kid is just absolutely unbelievable. 12 catches, 154 yards, and the 2-point conversion to make it a 7-point game before the last drive on the Bears. Franchise record 12 catches. Now, a little dicey being that he only had, 2 or 3 in the second half after having, 9 or 10 in the first half. I'm going to say this about the offense. I'm not going to say that the offense was bad. They were good. The problem is consistency. They have this ability to just once in a while have these disappearing acts for about 45 65 minutes of real time. Great 3 possessions. Okay, they punt. Okay, missed field goal to end the half. Essentially, they don't really do anything until the last drive of the game. Yes, they moved the ball, had that interception, but they only had a few possessions in the second half to begin with. I mean, the game got over at 2:43 today, so it was a very fast moving game. Having said that, they need to be a touch more consistency. That's the thing. They'll have games where they don't do anything for a quarter, then have a great quarter, and then be gone for a little bit, and then have a come from behind victory drive. They need to be a touch more consistent because the simple fact of the matter is, yes, your defense, played about as well as it should be playing. I know it doesn't look good when you're up 21-3, and next thing you know, you're down 22-21. Okay, yeah, So that means they gave up 19 straight points. But in order to give up 19 straight points, it's not just about your defense not getting stops, it's about your offense not scoring. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not throwing shade at the offense here. They really only had a possession or two in between, as I mentioned. But you have to do a little bit more and be a little bit more consistent with things in order to not be putting yourselves into the situations that we are absolutely finding ourselves in. I'm going to give a shout here to commenter. Where are we at? What's up, D. Lindstrom? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. Vikings dominated that game. Gave a bad drive to start second half. Absolutely. Yes, that Moody catch was ridiculous. And, you're pretty much saying the same thing I am, which is it only took a handful of plays here and there to turn that game from what would have utterly been a blowout to a nail-biter at the end. Obviously, again, look at Buffalo. They had 4 touchdowns from Josh Allen in the first half, up 31-3, and they cruised comfortably. Now, the Vikings were very, very close to being able to do that. But then I said, 1 or 2 bad things happened, and the next thing you know, listen, defense got to play at the end. Great job by Rick Spielman drafting Amir Smith-Marset and sabotaging the Bears when sending him away. I know that he didn't cut him, but great. Ultimately, that might end up being the best thing that Rick Spielman did on the way out was to give us Amir Smith-Marset just so that we could cut him, have him go to the Bears, and completely sabotage him. But jokes aside, what a great play by Cam Dantzler at the end. Just, I don't know why Smith-Marset didn't just run out of bounds. They had life. He's fighting for an extra yard or two. The risk reward there was just, there was really very little reward to be had for the risk he was taking. But defensively, Vikings get the stop. We get to 4-1. A lot of things to clean up. Defensively, they had their moments. I don't know why they still decide that they want to just play this cover 2 shell and rarely bring pressure. I understand that you have to bring pressure the right way when you're talking about a mobile quarterback, particularly with the skill level of mobility that is Justin Fields. But at the same time, they've got to do a lot better rushing the passer and still containing to make sure that we're not leaving plays all over the field. They get that sack by Zadarius Smith, and then 1 play later, you got Montgomery in the middle of the field. Okay, so he catches the ball. Give him 12 yards on 2nd 20. That's fine. But then you miss a bunch of tackles and you let him get a first down right after that. I'm sorry. Yes, ultimately made the play when we need to, but just too much sloppiness out there. Way too much sloppiness. Now, offensively, a lot of people want to talk about the interception with Kirk Cousins. Let me say this. As somebody who has repeatedly said that I think Kirk Cousins is a good, not great quarterback, where I'm not going to be a Kirk Cousins hater and say he sucks. I'm also not going to be a Kirk Cousins stand and say that he's a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, he's just not. But that performance in the first half, by and large, utterly flawless. That interception, okay, let's break that play down for just a moment. He saw Thielen coming open, and if he had immediately thrown the ball to him, he would have been making a Brett Favre tight coverage throw that either would have gotten incomplete or maybe gotten squeezed in there. But he hesitated a half second. Now, at that particular point in time, the Bears defensive player did kind of sucker him into that. I'm not as mad about that interception as some, because what if I, as somebody who I would call myself a Kirk Cousins doubter per se, to say that I don't know that he can make plays when it's crunch time, although he certainly has the last 3 weeks. We have for the last 4 years been complaining that Kirk Cousins will always just take the check down. Yeah, he had C.J. Ham open for about 6 or 7 yards. And what have we been saying? We've been saying we want him to push the ball down the field and not always just take those check downs. Maybe he needed to pump fake it to Thielen and then take it to C.J. Ham, or, like I said, get the ball out immediately to Adam Thielen there. But I'm not going to be as critical of that interception, because that's the type of aggressive interception that we've been saying that we are going to be okay with when it comes to the fact that he's being aggressive. And ultimately, guess what? If Kirk Cousins the Kirk Cousins last year doesn't make that interception. He just checks it down to C.J. Ham. But the Kirk Cousins of last year also doesn't have 3 game-winning drives in a whole season, much less 3 weeks in a row. So I will take that interception. That's called taking the good with the bad. What else you got for me, Liston? Cam the man could have cut outside and probably scored. Yeah, okay, here's the thing. When you're up 7, the other team doesn't have any timeouts. He started running, and once he realized that there was anybody close to him, he did absolutely do the right thing, most definitely. If that's the second quarter or the middle of the game, he doesn't just slide down, obviously. But no, he might have gotten into the end zone if he wanted to. He might not, but again, there was absolutely no reason to risk that. So appreciate your comments here, D. Lindstrom, very much. Send me any more that you have here. So I'm just going to leave it with this. Vikings get the win. And we're going to have the full post-game show at about 6:30, 6:45 Central Time leading into the Sunday Night Football game with more of the crew here. I know right now we're only on Facebook and only on YouTube and Twitter because we've having some Facebook issues. We're trying to still get those resolved. So hopefully we can get those resolved here soon to get us back broadcasting on the Facebook page as well. So I'm going to keep it short here today because it's just me. So we will be back on tonight around 6:30, 6:45 Central Time leading to Sunday night. I know myself, Rap will probably be there, possibly SK and Rick. We'll see. But bottom line is this. Celebrate the day. I know that as Vikings fans, we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, so to speak. Listen, this is 3 weeks in a row where last year we would have been talking about at best 1 win, if not most likely 0 wins. Celebrate it. Have fun. Go to work tomorrow. Talk to your pack of friends and say, oh, gee, what happened? I thought Aaron Rodgers was unbeatable, and Aaron Rodgers had all these great ideas about what they should be doing in London. Bottom line is this. The Minnesota Vikings are the only team in the NFC North that won today, and they are sitting atop the division. And we got one more game coming into the bye week, and we'll address it a little bit more later on the post-game show, as well as all of the shows, myself and Mike and Kyla starting out tomorrow night as well. But for right now, let's just enjoy this win. Let's enjoy this fall weather, and let's just know that right now we are on top of the NFC North, and the only team that we've lost to is currently still undefeated at this particular point in time. So for now, I'm going to sign off here for now. And again, join us back here in a couple of hours for the full post-game show. Just wanted to give a quick shout and a quick recap of the game here today. One more time, do want to thank Rinaldi's Pizza and Pasta in Woodbury. Again, they're on Wood Lane Drive. That's off I-494 and Valley Creek Road. Again, the pizza, the wings, the cheese bread is absolutely ridiculous at that spot. Also want to thank Rinaldi. Also want to thank Nautical Bowls. Computer, why do you freeze up on me in the worst possible times every single time? They're on Hudson Place, and that's right off the intersection of I-94 and Woodbury Drive. Thanks again for joining the Purple Code. Keep us tuned. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Some good content. Like I said, we got shows every day of the week except for every other Friday. So come check us back out here at about 6:30, 6:45 Central Time tonight. And the Vikings are 4-1. And enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in a couple of hours. Bye.